All right. God, I just thank you so much for this new year and for the chance to meet together here on a team call today. I just thank you so much for each and every person who is on the call live or listening to the recording and just how you brought them onto our team. I pray that as we talk about 2025 today, Lord, that you would just get us excited and help us to have an abundance mindset and help us to really focus on what is possible if we can work hard and just trust in you. I pray for each person on here, whatever they have going on personally too right now, you know, those little details, the heavy stuff, the stuff that's keeping them up at night, even the exciting stuff, Lord. And we thank you for all the ways that you're working in our lives and just pray that we would keep focusing on you every step of the way. I pray that you would just give our team immense growth this year. Help us to really just believe that we can help a lot of people through this business. I pray that you would just speak through Jake and I today and help us to be an encouragement to everyone. In your name we pray, amen. Okay, so welcome to 2025. It is crazy that I mean, the new year and gosh, it just feels like it was, Christmas and now it's almost, we're coming up first and end of the first week of January. So for the call today, what we really just wanted to do is have a time to regroup, first of all, because I know for a lot of us, we've all kind of just been, doing all the things that we can do, but we haven't had a team call for a few weeks. Maybe you're feeling a little bit disconnected from the team just because you've kind of been taking care of your family and your kids. I know Christmas break was awesome, but there were times where we were like, okay, we're like ready to get back into routine. And it can feel like a lot too. So today, the focus of our call is really going to be on thinking big for 2025 and really making sure that you guys have an understanding of what is possible here at Shackley. So we're going to talk a little bit about setting goals. And then one of the things that I asked Jake to talk about is just a review of the comp plan, especially for those of you who are newer or maybe, the end of 2024 was just so crazy and you weren't able to like fully go all in with Shackley like you wanted to. It's not too late. I love what Meredith Lemire always says. She's like, you're right on time to like get plugged in. And I just think that is so wise and so encouraging. So if that's you, like please know you're not behind. There is still time for you to really make some awesome things of this business. And for those of you who are maybe like, gosh, I wanted to do more and I felt like I was working really hard at the end of 2024 and it just didn't quite get the traction that I wanted. I also want to encourage you to keep going because that's business, right? You have ups and you have downs. And sometimes that can be hard because you're like, gosh, I thought I was going to be further along, or, I thought I would have maybe this piece figured out by now. And it can be a little bit hard to stay in that positive mindset. But what I have found so far with Shackley is that mindset truly is everything. And I think every month, we have an opportunity to think, okay, is this going to be the month that I go for it? And is this going to be the month that I have faith that this is like what I can move forward here? Or am I going to kind of be in this victim, like, woe is me sort of mindset? And I'll just be honest, like all of us are working through that in certain points. Like, especially we say this pretty frequently just because there are so many of us that came over from body. But it was really hard over there and it was hard on our mindsets for a while. And so I want us to acknowledge that that's real and we don't have to have it all figured out here. We just have to be focused on moving forward and knowing that things are very different here. Whenever I find myself kind of going, gosh, do I have what it takes? Or is this going to work out? Or is all this work worth it? I have to remind myself, and Jake reminds me all the time, this is such a different environment. And it is so much better and more prosperous, and things are happening here. I mean, when we look back to the last few months, even especially just back in December, we're just like putting up all the leaderboards and stuff from December. And what is so encouraging to us is that the people that are working really hard, like month after month, are winning. And yeah, it might take you a little time to get your momentum going, but if you stick with it, it will happen. I think the people who are struggling here right now are the ones who are like in for a little bit and then out for a little bit and then back in for a little bit and then back out. but it does really seem like those who show up consistently are winning month after month. And you might be winning in a way that you didn't even win somewhere else, and that's really encouraging to hear. I mean, I see Colleen right there in front of me, and she, for example, was a emerald at Body, and now she's gotten up to senior director. So, it really is like what I find so encouraging about Shackley is the people that work hard. It's like the great equalizer for everything. Like there's no luck here because you can't just at Body, there was a lot of luck going on, to be honest with you. Like if you got placed somewhere and then someone signed up after you and like you got lucky in a lot of cases where you were making money. Well, that's not the case here. So you really do start to see the people that are willing to put in the work month after month, they will win here. And for those that are not willing to put the work in, they're going to realize this isn't a get rich quick thing. This takes work, but if you work hard, you can get there. Yeah, Christy's like, I did not get lucky. Me either. I think like it's so funny and I think that's why our team is winning here too, to be honest with you, is because so many of us like were not placed well over at Body. Like we really had to do a lot on our own. And so what that teaches is a good work ethic. And so here that's going to really be a benefit to you. So as we look at 2025 and kind of setting goals, some of you have already hit director. That's like the first rank to hit. So if you have not hit that, you're not behind. Don't stress out. You're not like, not going to hit it. You will absolutely hit it if you remain consistent. And so that would be the first thing. If you're not at director yet, I would say, why not in January? And Jake's going to talk a little bit about the director retreat that we have coming up and how you can qualify for that. But I would say, director is the first thing. Now, the cool part and what Jake's going to go into here is that it's not just a rank-based system. It's also this comp plan has the retail side. So you saw that last month. I mean, Brittany Rutherford, it was the top in sales of our whole team. And not far behind her was Meredith. They work together and they are like hustle so hard. But what's really cool is that Brittany is a director, but she's making more than people that are senior directors right now because she's selling a lot of product. And so I think that's really cool because it really does show you that, you can decide what income you want to make here. And just because you're a director doesn't mean that you're earning less than someone that's higher up. And we're even going to build that into the director, like the retreat qualifications, because we're like, here it's so different because like at Body, it was like you either hit diamond or above. And here it's like, well, you can hit director, but you could also become VIP status at this retreat if you have sales at a certain point. So it's really exciting. So just at a glance, I'd love to kind of know where everyone's at in terms of like, have you started to think about goals for this year? And of course we have these monthly goals, but I really want you to think bigger than just monthly because if you show up month after month, what you can do in a year here could actually blow your mind and it could be such a blessing for your family that you maybe never expected. So I'd love for you guys to post in the chat, like, what is your very next goal? And then, if you've thought about it, and if you haven't, that's okay too. I know Christy has done a goal setting call for her team. This is our first one that we're doing a little bit. So if you haven't had a chance to talk about that, that's okay too. But I'd love to kind of know in the chat, where is your head at and what are you thinking about next? Because one of the things that we found to be true, and it's true anywhere, but it was true at Body, is that people would sort of hit diamond and they'd be like, all right, like I'm good. I hit diamond. I'm like a leader. And it's great. It's great to hit diamond. It's great to hit director. But we really want this to turn into, life-changing income for you. And that starts at director, but it can become so much more than that. And I don't want you to sell yourself short just because maybe you're not exactly quite sure how you're going to get there yet. Okay, I love seeing these goals in here. Love to hit director. Bronze Elite. Yes, the Elite program is amazing as well. And that's something that is so possible for all of you.
I also want to add real quick on the note with director. Like a lot of times I think we look at it as something that needs to be this like big month-long push. And if I hit it that month, then I was a success. If I don't hit it that month, then I was a failure. But the reality with this is you certainly are going to be compensated along the way as you build towards director. So if you're you're pushing really, really hard. I always believe you're going to get further had you pushed than if you didn't push at all. So you're only going to get there by pushing. If you come up a little bit short, you got to remember a lot of those people are going to reorder the following month, and that's also going to count towards your PTV. So, like month one, oh shoot, I didn't go director. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that you're building. And we just need to like really reframe our mindset with that because there really was like a lot of success or failure at Body. And then like near the end, all of y'all just kind of started embracing yourselves as failures. So it's like, we're part-time builders, part-time therapists here at this point. But the reality is if you are building on a regular basis and you're adding people to your customer base, you will hit director. You just need them to continue to reorder, and that comes in, that boils back to being good at like client retention and checking in with people and being engaged in groups and all that kind of stuff. So I know there's a bunch of people. We came up a little bit short in the month of December, but your business is further along now in January. So don't be discouraged. Don't take off 3 weeks and be like, shoot, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to push for director at the end of the month. Like, stay engaged, keep pushing, keep building. This business is going to be built over time. I always call it time under tension with consistent action. So super, super important there. And like, we just got to like kind of rewire our brains to see it as like a positive thing that we're pushing, not a failure that we came up short.
I love seeing all these goals. It is like so inspiring. And please read through the comments if you haven't had a chance. But like what I love is that I know all of this is possible and I just know with hard work you guys are gonna like you're just gonna create such a neat impact for your family. Okay, so do you want to just kind of go over cap again, like the two main ways for the comp plan, just to you don't have to spend a lot of time because a lot of these people know that, but
Can
for
I
anyone,
go down a tangent before I get there?
sure.
Okay, because I was thinking about this. So at beginning of the year, tiny bit of tough love, because I think some of y'all got this down. Some of y'all have so much potential that you just don't realize yet, and I am here to remind you. So, first and foremost, so thankful that all y'all are here, and truly. If we are pouring our time, effort, and energy into this, into you, into your teams, it's not BS. Like we believe it. Like we believe in the comp plan, we believe in the possibilities, and most importantly, we believe in you. So just before I get into what I want to say, like I want y'all to hear that and believe that. First thing, if we want to have massive success in 2024, I need every
2025.
uh, that's right.
We're
That's
still
right. It's a turnover. That's why I got you here to keep me honest. I'm going to start by talking about 2024 and give an hour talk on that, and then we'll talk on 2025. No, so 2025. Okay, first things first, if you guys are going to have the success that you're capable of having, each and every one of you on this call and anybody who is watching the replay, we got 36 people on here and we'll have more people watch it after. I need every single one of y'all to start treating it like a business every single day. A lot of you guys already do this, but it's only ever going to become a business if you treat it like a business. And so like there is no job if you're a nurse and you just check out for a week or 2 weeks or a month and come back to the hospital, you probably won't have a job. You don't have a business, right? No matter what it is, like it just doesn't function if you're not treating this like a business and you're a part of these things, you're a part of these calls, you're a part of all kinds of stuff. I need you in your back office every day. You have to understand your back office. We're 4 or 5 months in now, and I will still get messages from people on the comp plan. The comp plan is extremely, extremely, extremely simple. And I've gotten some messages from people going, well, I'm like really confused by the back office. Those types of things, if you're treating it like a business, you should at least have a pretty basic 101 understanding. And I'm telling you, as the comp plan grows, we're not like today, like I'm gonna like hit like one specific part and be like, look, let's just start here. But as you start growing in senior director and coordinator, executive coordinator, all those, like the comp plan gets more elaborate. And what you need to know is that, like, and the only thing you need to know right now is it gets elaborate in such a good way that it's worth all the time, effort, energy, frustration that you're facing. You just start making more quicker. Okay. So, like, focus on that, but like, you need to be in your back office. You need to know where you are on your sales, your monthly sales. You need to know where you are on your Star Club bonuses. So you're making sure at the end of the month you're monetizing and maximizing. So just like I would start there, and I would also say like consistent proof of product. That's just like such a big deal. Where like sometimes we're in this really good groove of we're doing our workouts, we're eating clean, we're eating healthy, we're taking care of our mindset, and like it's this overall health and well-being. And then we've got these long stretches where like we kind of fall off. And I just think the more that you treat this like, your audience, your followers, your customers are all watching to see like consistent use out of you too. There's so many people now that are selling some sort of product. And honestly, like Amber would tell you right away, like there's nothing special about I think there's a lot of things special about her, but there's like nothing special about Amber. There's nothing special about me. But the one thing that I will say that we both are, we are extremely consistent people. Now we have like different things that we're focused on at different times, but like we always are pretty good about showing up. So I just would encourage you, like treat it like a business, show up like it. If we want to have massive results, we all need to get out the gates faster in the month. Like even for us, like last month, we were just saying this, like we really wanted to have this whole like retreat thing, like bundled out, rolled out, like beautiful ribbon thrown out to you guys last month. We just felt like we had to like grind it out. It was just such like from that weeks like 2, 3, 4 was just like such a grind. We don't want to be stuck in this path where like every single month we go slow and then right at the end we try and hit it. It's just not a recipe for success. And sometimes y'all get lucky and we hit it and you just feel so good. But I'm telling you, a lot of times when I look and I track every single one of y'all's progression and where you're going. And like when I see your faces every single day, which is why I love running those director boards, I start understanding like, trends and where business is at. And like a lot of the people that hit goals, whether it was end of November or end of December, well, I should say end of October, end of November, struggled to hit the same mark the following month. So maybe it was like maybe they like fell off director, maybe they fell off senior director, whatever it was, like the month end push got them there and it was really exciting and you feel really good. But like the less of this that we do and the more of like this that we do, the happier we're all going to be and the more successful all y'all are going to be. So, and Amber was just saying this and I wrote this down before. I just said consistency is so important. Every others doesn't work. So, like, if I'm gonna show up on social media every other day or every other week or every other month, it's not gonna work. If I attend these calls every other week, every other 2 weeks, it's not gonna work. You need to be consistent. I'm gonna work out every other day, every other week. You see what I'm saying? So, like, that consistent action is so important to your business and it builds, credibility. It builds credibility. It builds credibility for all y'all who are trying to build teams. It builds teams within your teams. If you're nowhere to be found as a leader for weeks, it's really tough for us to hear, well, it's frustrating that our team's not pushing right now. Pace of the leader determines the pace of the pack. We remind ourselves that all the time. Like even on the days we don't want to, pace of the leader determines the pace of the pack. If we're nowhere to be found, why should a team member be anywhere to be found as
Can
well?
I add something to that?
Please.
So as far as like the consistency piece, I think that it's also important to note that we're not saying you have to be perfect to have success here, because if you're not consistent with your business, it just means that you have to still build up that muscle of discipline. I think for all of us that at some point started working out consistently, it took some time to create that habit, right? And maybe you had in the beginning some weeks where you were like, gosh, I really wanted to work out more this week and I only got like one workout in. And you're kind of frustrated, but that's okay because you know what matters most is then the next month or the next week you show up and you start again. And so for me with fitness, I always have said, okay, every Monday is like my fresh start. And I had to do that because for me it was, and I think people, it also depends on your personality. So like some people, like you tell them to be consistent and it's like, boom, they're like Yep. And I would say Jake is more like that than me because he's very much type A personality and I am more of a type B. So for me, like I have to work really, really hard to create consistency in my life. It doesn't just happen. But if you keep going and you keep failing forward, you can get there too. Like this business is not just for type A personalities, it's really for people that are willing to keep failing forward and going, okay, well, I didn't show up like I wanted to last week, so but I'm going to keep going instead of feeling like, oh, I'm just going to wait until the next month, right? And so every Monday, if you can kind of go, okay, well, this is my fresh start. I'm going to try to get, like, I posted that right tracker in the team page. It's a really simple tracker. And even if you just go, okay, this week, I want to fill this out like 3 times this week. And then next week, maybe I bump it up to 4 or whatever. But I want you to give yourself grace as you create consistency. Like you do, if you want to have success, you do need to get there. But for a lot of people that don't have that built in, it's just a matter of continuing to show up even when you kind of fail. And that's true in anything. And I think one quote that really helped me when I was building my business at Body, when I would get frustrated with myself of like, why can I not just like do what I want to do? Like it's so frustrating sometimes. But I remember this quote and it said, successful people are not perfect. They just self-correct faster. So it's not that they have it all figured out. It's just that when life takes them down and a lot of us like have a lot going on with our lives, whether you have kids or you have other people that you're taking care of. And some weeks, you know what, the kids get sick and it just seems like everything goes to crap, right? But in those moments, that's when you have to decide, am I going to take the rest of the month off or the rest of the week off, or am I just going to like pick myself up? So if you're not consistent yet, I also don't want you to feel like it's impossible because you can totally get there if you just keep failing forward.
Love it. Two things here that we kind of noticed that I mentioned this the other day in a post too. Intentionally selling something, we really made some big pushes with volume the last couple of months. So if you like go all the way back to wand sales, like the thing that's crazy with wand sales is that had nothing to do with Shackley initially. That was just us going, honestly, it's kind of a cool product. I think people would buy it. Then all of a sudden, Shackley rolls out this big incentive, and we were just hyper focused on selling wands and just like went through the roof. We made the month of November extremely, extremely easy. Same thing with the reset. If you look in December, like it took a little bit for y'all to get going on reset, but then like at the end there, like we were selling them like fire. So as you know, we're gonna have some direction here. I just would encourage y'all to jump in on it if we're going, hey, for these next 2 weeks here, or this week, or these 72 hours, let's push like hack selling Meology or build or whatever. Those intention that intentionality, instead of getting like down on 3 to 5 different products, I'm trying to sell this, I'm trying to sell that, I want to be talking about this one, and simply focusing on something really allowed us to make some big spikes in volume. So even for you who might be pushing towards director this month, or you've got team members pushing towards director this month and you want to be inspiring them, I think maybe less is more right now. Instead of being overwhelmed with 300 plus products, let's focus on, 1 or 2, really push at different points in the month with them. And it seemed to be a good response. And again, a lot of these bigger products are consumables. They're like, especially Meology. I mean, people go through it. As long as they're actually using the Meology, they're going to reorder the next month, which is ultimately going to help you build up that PTV over time. And then the last thing that I want to say with this, and then I'm just give you a couple reminders just on the comp plan, but push with us. I said that we had a lot of people who sat out pushes. And I know you said this in one of the things you were reminding people to hop on the call. Like a lot of times I'll push this off because I like mentally I just don't feel like I'm ready to hop on a call or engage in a group chat, push with people. Like my business might not be where it is. Like, look, like we're imperfect people doing the best we can to fail forward, as Amber was just saying. And so like you don't have to have everything all figured out to push with us. There's so many times where I'm amazed at the different people, the different leaders that we have here that are sharing their content, their images. Heck, a lot of times we're sharing the exact text that we're using. Like you don't have to have this like perfectly crafted message. We convince ourselves we do, no doubt. But I really like massive, massive, massive amounts of volume were generated those last couple of days in the month. And like the only thing that really changed is that people could add in Energize and they got free shipping. I mean, we're talking $10 for shipping, and we were able to sell almost $40,000 worth of product in 72 hours. Like it was insane. So if we're pushing something, if we're doing this big event, like you have to be engaged in threads. You have to be paying attention in the team page. Like we are like giving you how to build this business. It's on you at that point. Back to number one of like treating this like a business. It's on you then to be present, getting the information, putting together a plan, and then most importantly, taking action. So I just think we have this incredible ability this year to double this thing, triple this thing, if we all are just, focused on these action items, truly treating it like a business. And then again, I'm an analytical person. So when I'm watching trends and things that are working, like we just got to use it. We just got to use it and we got to roll with it and we got to go all in. So I want to just go over just a couple of like key points. And this is really important for anybody who is tracking your income. First and foremost, I will share my tracker again with you. I don't know how many of y'all downloaded it. It's super simple. But a lot of times what we do is we will we'll watch what's coming in our back office and we see like the weekly sales to date or whatever. Sometimes that can be like really inspiring. For me, it's like depressing because there's like no money in there for the first like 14, 15 days of the month. And then all of a sudden I see our bank account fill back up. So anytime that I'm getting messages from people on like, hey, what is this? What is this payout from? Like you can find those in that view details button. So you can see like up at the top of your dashboard, you can click view details. A lot of times it's going to be 30 for 30, or it's going to be your Star Club bonus. What I would encourage every one of you to do if you are serious about this business, track your income based off of what's hitting your bank account, not necessarily what's showing up at Shackley. Like obviously you track both because you're in your back office now that you're treating it like a business. But I track our income every time that something comes in. I just make like a little note on this spreadsheet. I have a little, equal sign sum button that populates how much money we got at the end of the month. And then I've got another thing that shifts over to how much money we're making per month year over year. And so for me, I'm inspired by that. I like seeing what January 24 was versus January 25. See, I got 25 now. I've transitioned. I'm into the new year with y'all. But the same thing, like for us, we came over in June. So I can't wait to see what that number looks like in June. And like, are we actually building? And so I would just really encourage you to track it. A lot of times this business can get lonely, it can get defeating. And sometimes if you're wired like me, like I can't say money is my driver, but it certainly is a validator that something is worth my time. So if I am seeing the money go up and the income rising, then I'm naturally going to want to spend more time and continue to build. So I will share that again in our like main thread just to make sure that all of you guys have it if you want. It's so simple, but it might be a really easy way for you to stay motivated. Like, look, I'm impacting my family and this number is growing. So that's super important. So track. Your primary, like when you're like initially, you have to remember that there is a difference between your 30 for 30 and then what you're going to be paid as your team bonus or like your true up, whatever you want to call it, on the 15th. When it's a new customer, within those first 30 days, you're paid at that 30%. Okay. So a lot of times you'll see your payment. Those are what some of those random numbers are throughout the month where you're like, wait, why did I get paid on a Tuesday or Thursday? Typically it's a Thursday, but sometimes it'll come in on a Monday or a Tuesday. That's what that typically is. It's your 30 for 30. They are new customers. They just signed up, new customers or ambassadors, right? So they just signed up. You're getting 30% on anything that they purchased within those first 30 days. Okay, everybody got that? Okay. The other component of that as you're bringing on new customers is the Star Club bonus. For every 3 new customers and totaling $500 in sales, you're giving the $75 bonus. That is paid that following week. So that's not something that like billows up or anything like that. That's like you hit it, they pay you. So throughout the day-to-day portion of your month, you are going to get your 30 for 30. You're going to get your Star Club bonus. That is like it initially. There's not like different tiers and percentages here or there. You don't really even need to get like bogged down understanding any of that stuff until you really hit like senior director, coordinator. Now different tiers kind of start coming into play. And that's a conversation for a completely different day because at this point we just have so many people that need to get to director plus and start building under them. So, if you're interested in how that next level can kind of unlock and incentives that are available, we should have that conversation outside of here. The other component to it, and this is where it can get like a little like you have to keep building. And it's a good way to like not have like a binary where this person can build and then this person just makes money just by doing nothing. Like if we don't keep growing, we don't make more money. If you don't keep growing, you don't make more money. In fact, after you get past those first 30 days, then it transitions over to your sales tier. And the sales tier is going to be a cumulative number that's tracked in your dashboard, and you're able to go in there throughout the month. And that's like, back to treating this like a business. If I'm you guys, which, we try and like explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. I'm in that dashboard, especially as you get into weeks 3 and 4, and I'm trying to level up that sales tier. Like I saw a goal from I think Meredith where she was like, I'm trying to hit that 10,000 mark. Heck yeah. Like that should be, yeah, I want to go director. But if you understand the comp plan, your sales tier, just like we were saying before, like with Brittany, like the sales tier matters almost more than going director. So if you can maximize the comp plan by bringing on new customers, you're going 30 for 30, you're hitting your Star Club bonuses, and you're increasing your sales tier. Now that following month, whatever that sales tier is that you hit 20%, 25%, 30%, like one of our first goals, as we said a couple months ago now, was to get to that 40% mark. That is paid to you back on the 15th in that team bonus on the 15th, 16th, depending on like holidays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that kind of thing. So like mid-month, you guys are going to get that. So let's say month one, you sign up a ton of customers and you get that 30%, but you only get to, $2,500 in total sales volume. That following month, you are going to be paid at that sales tier, which I believe is 25%, right? I want to say 25%. Something like that, 20, 25%. So the second month, you might make less than you made the first month, which can be defeating. But if you are bringing in new customers on top of the old customers, now you bump that sales tier up, but you're also getting your 30 for 30, you're getting your Star Club bonus, and now you're getting the 25%. That's how this thing starts accumulating. And the faster it starts accumulating, the higher the sales tier, the more money that you start making on those team bonuses or true ups mid-month. I get a lot of questions on that. That is always paid mid-month, 14th, 15th, 16th, depending on the day. So if you are looking for like, look, when do I actually feel the money that I'm building? That is going to be mid-month. Does that all make sense? True. Yeah, go. You go.
Well, just what you just said about like, getting to director is great. And that should be like your first goal, but essentially that's like, it's either $3,000 in sales, which is awesome, or it's you getting a little bit of sales and someone on your team getting a little bit of sales. But what I kind of keep seeing and what I just want to warn those of you who have hit director is not to just get director and feel like, all right, like that's it. Like I did it, because you are then going to eventually be disappointed when you're not making as much money. Now, a great example of someone that didn't do that is Christine Taylor, because she got to director and every month she keeps selling more. Therefore, not only is she's a director, would she like to be a senior director? Of course, like, and she's going to get to all the ranks, but what she said was, all right, well, right now I don't have anyone that is probably going to get to director this month. So I still want to make more income for my family. So I'm going to push to get to that $7,500 goal. And I just love that. And what's so cool is that, like, what's inspiring to me, and like you said, the speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. And for me, like I know that like it is so motivating to see some of you guys getting closer to that 10,000 because I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta keep going. Like I have to keep like being in the lead here because I know that like if I'm working hard, like that's motivating. What's not inspiring, and I think especially if you've been under someone that doesn't work as hard as you, is like, when you see people that are at director and they're only at director because of the person that's actually selling. So like what I would say is, if you want to get your team to that next level, show them that you can get, like if you want to get to, if you're at director and you want to get to senior director, don't just wait on and think, oh, well, I think I have a girl that's going to hit director, so then I'll hit senior director. Like instead, you could double your income this month by simply focusing on the $5,000 tier instead of getting, just being content with like the 1,000 or whatever, the 3,000 even. Um, but I really love, and for us, like we had to rebuild our income coming over here, right? And so I still think this, like the fastest way to get to full-time income here is personal sales. Like if you don't have people that are working yet, that's one thing that you can control. And then what's really cool is like as you do focus on personal sales, you naturally are going to have more people in your pipeline who then can have the potential to be also working ambassadors. But there's really no reason to wait on your team to hit their goals before you can hit your goals because I know from all of us, our number one thing is income. And so that is not capped here in any way unless you decide that you're not going to continue to focus on that personal sales. But anyone that's at director already, I just want to encourage you, like, do not settle for the tier that you were at last month. Like, you can, even if you don't have anyone working with you yet, like, you can push yourself to that next tier. And so, yeah, like Christine and Meredith and Brittany, they all got to the 7,500. We had also a handful of people push towards the end of the month and got to the $5,000 tier, which it's like, holy cow, that's so awesome. And so now this month, it's going to be so motivating for them to, like, I'm just telling you, when you're selling and you realize like you get a 40% commission on anything. Like if I go and sell wands and I get like it's $125 and I get a 40% commission, do you know how motivating that is to stay driven towards personal sales? And so like that, that's the one thing that I'm seeing just because we were so conditioned at body to go, all right, I'm diamond, I'm good for the month, or all right, I'm at success club, I'm good for the month. And I don't want you to hold yourselves back when the comp plan allows for you to be earning so much more than like the bare minimums.
Yeah. And I mean, along those lines, the thing that I was gonna hit, I got like two more points on this, and then y'all are done with me. But like throughout the month, the two things that we are tracking is our sales tiers because we want 40%. Like I'm it's a non-negotiable. Like what are your non-negotiable goals for us? Like we're rebuilding. 40% is non-negotiable. Okay. At least on our end. And so whatever that is for you, like, hey, this month non-negotiable, I'm hitting that 20% tier. I'm hitting that 25% tier. I'm going to build this month non-negotiable is going to be that 30% tier, 40% tier, whatever it is. But you have to track it. Showing up that last week and being like, okay, man, my income's down. I didn't make as much on the 15th as I thought I was going to. Like, where am I at? Oh, shoot, I'm at 10% right now. Again, that's like I said, like that roller coaster of playing catch up. And like sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. So, like, you run the full race, you run the full marathon the entire month, you guys will be just fine. But that is definitely something I proactively track throughout the month. I track what's coming in. I track our sales tier. And then the third thing is that Star Club bonus. So again, and hopefully you guys have been conditioned by this now. I try and like remind you at the end of the month. I try and remind it in recognition posts, but like you have until that final day, the 28th, the 30th, the 31st, to maximize that Star Club bonus and get that last $75. If you don't, if you finish with 3 customers and $472 in sales, that does not carry over to the next month and you're going to be right back at zero. So sometimes for us, it'll be like, hey, like we're pushing, we need new customers just because we want to, hit a sales tier. And then we get to the end of the month and we're like, gosh, like we just need to find one more person to purchase Energize and we get a $75 bonus. Those are like the 3 things that I am tracking: weekly income, because I want to make sure I'm on top of it. Obviously, I track that true up or team bonus that comes in because I want to make sure I know what that is. And then tracking your sales tier and tracking your star club. Okay. Like have to. If you want basic, maximize the comp plan. Those are like the two, three things to be focused on. I did a call with corporate a couple of weeks ago where we were just doing like a deep dive on comp plan. I just wanted to make sure like any nuances and stuff like I really understood. One of the things that I thought was really interesting for any of y'all who are trying to build is they said it's a 99% success rate with this. So like here's the secret formula. Anybody over time, this isn't like a monthly thing, this isn't a 2 month thing, this is just an over time formula. Anybody that on a regular basis brings on 2 new ambassadors and 4 new customers a month has a 99% success rate of going director. So 2 new ambassadors, 4 new customers, 99% success. Because it just like I always I'm a big cumulative guy. So it's like, six, you're talking about 6 people coming into your business times 12 months, that's 72 people a year coming into your business. And then who knows? Every time like somebody sprouts off that. So now like 2 other people bring 72 people into their business, and now you're like 140, 210. Like it's really easy to see how your business can grow. So 2 new ambassadors, 4 new customers, 99% success. The one thing that I will say for anybody building, we have this like natural transition of bringing people over, right? When like Body fell apart, Rodan and Fields, all that, which was really exciting and really fun. But since then, we definitely have slowed as far as bringing on ambassadors, talking about ambassadors. The customer base is definitely growing. But I would say, like, the thing that was always the case with Body, and it's still the case here today, is you have to see that potential in somebody before they see that potential in themselves. No doubt, people are going to reach out to you eventually. No doubt. Like it'll just happen. Like how can you not be inspired by like every single one of you on this call are just incredible people. And eventually somebody will reach out. But there's also people that are in your circle. There are people that have ordered from you that could figure out this business and could be wildly successful with it. We are, as much as we don't want to, like we are going to have to pivot to that at some point where we also get back to the inviting side of this thing because, like, 2 ambassadors for all of y'all on this call times 12 months means you got to bring on 24 ambassadors, right? So that's like kind of a daunting number if we're not doing a call to action or we're not doing like prospecting and messaging and calls. So we are like working through that where we're going to try and do like a big push. Again, what did we say about pushes? Like we're doing a push, just jump in on it. Like worst case scenario, nobody ends up wanting to do this push, but the next time they saw you push for like ambassador calls and they go, hey, like I know I missed last month, but could I hop on your February call? So we are like thinking about that. But when they said that, like 2 ambassador forecast, 99% success, I'm like, okay, so we got to figure out a way to make that very easy for everybody to plug into and duplicate, because then at that point, like every single one of you, there's just one. There's just one. 99% means just one of you will not be successful. But maybe we can make it 100%. But that's pretty darn good success rate. But it also tells us what we need to be focused on and what we need to be doing if we want to do it.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool, if you think about the success that you've had, anyone that has been showing up consistently, I would say gets to, like he always does, the road to director for 500 plus. And I would say like anyone that shows up consistently gets to be at least to 500. Um, and that is more than $500, right? Like that's actually closer to what, 1,000 almost in
Yeah, it's
sales
like one
ish.
1.5. So
Yeah, a
yeah,
little
you're
more than that.
like $750 in sales.
But what I wanted to say about that is just think about, for those of you who did come from Body, I want you to think about the amazing job that you're doing and how much you're selling. Because, back at Body, we would say you have to hit Success Club, which was about what? If you sold 3 challenge packs, let's say $600 in sales, like for
Yeah.
the whole month, and that was considered successful. Look at how much more you're doing. And that is only because you're focused on that and you're believing that more is possible if you show up. I mean, I think about like Liz and Mandy, like breaking the $3,000, a month in sales, like That's actually so incredible to think about. And the cool part here is that you can just keep building on that. So, we're shouting out people that are in the 7,500 and almost a 10,000, but to be at 3,000, to be at 1,000, like
Sure.
wherever you,
500.
to be
I
at
mean, to me,
five.
that 500 PTV, the month of November, we had, I think by the end of the month, I was tracking like 60 some odd people. Think about that. A downline of you've got almost 70 people that have sold over $750 worth of product. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, those of you who are showing up, and for those of you who haven't quite gotten, in the business yet or taking action consistently, I hope that encourages you because the success rate here is like so high for the people that are showing up. So I just want to say, like, of course we're gonna push you to do more this year, but you're already doing an amazing job. And like we are so inspired by all of you just continuing to show up and taking action. Andrea, I see you on the call too, and she just keeps showing up and she's consistent and she didn't give up in December. And what happened is she then is like, oh my gosh, someone just bought the reset. Or, just all these like little wins are happening for her now that she keeps showing up. And there's so many more stories. I wish I could shout out every single one of you because there are like everyone on this call that's showing up has had some sort of a win. But keep going because it is so possible here. And then the really cool part for those of you who are focusing on personal sales, now that you're getting a feel for how that goes, what's so awesome is that as you bring on more ambassadors, you're then going to be able to turn around and teach them also like what you're doing because it's the people that are winning in personal sales, by the way, it's not necessarily people that have the biggest social media followings. I just want to remind you of that as well, that it is the people that are working very hard behind the scenes. Um, Brittany, like she does not have the biggest social media following. Meredith, not the biggest social media following, but you know what? They show up and they get behind the scenes and they invite and they follow up and it's like I love that anyone can win here because what that does for me in the recruiting standpoint is it goes, okay, I can bring on, someone that I meet here in town, even if they've never been on social media, I can teach them this business because it's not about a popularity contest here. It's about caring and serving and helping people get results that they want to get. So I hope that's encouraging to you. Mariah, same thing. You're like, yeah, I don't have a big following either. And here you are, you're gonna hit director. Like it's so, so cool. So I love that piece of it. Okay, we're gonna quickly touch on the retreat and then if you guys have any questions and you're like, okay, this is holding me back, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us because if there is ever something that you're like, gosh, I need to figure this out or that out, reach out. We're just talking about what we want to do is like calls for smaller teams, like so that you can help, your team get to the next level. And team calls are great, but really this business can be built in an even more powerful way with small group calls. So just keep in mind, if that's something that you want to do, please reach out to us. We're happy to help in any way. But yeah, let's talk about the retreat.
Yeah, and I with the retreat, like I still want to take one hot second with you. With hot second sounds nice, but to like frame out how this is gonna
We have a
look.
few more
So
details.
so the biggest thing is that anybody who hit Director Plus in the month of December, we're finalizing what that looks like, but that will carry weight. Then there will be additional weight. Well, say okay, back. So hit Director Plus December or over 5,000 in sales
Yeah.
in December will carry weight. We want to like kind of go and look at this in very different ways, which is why I want to take that hot
We
second.
thought we had this all figured out, and then we're like, wait a second, because the comp plan is different. So we want to make sure we're rewarding people, not just if they're rank advancing, but also if they're selling. So we will get this
100%.
hash out.
So this will be rolled out to you like today, ideally today, last resort would be tomorrow. So we're like really, really close on this. We will have like, so you'll have the side of it that'll be rank advancement or hold in the month of December and or
That'll be
sales
like extra credit essentially.
and or sales tier. And then the same thing in January. So you'll have the ability to rank advance, which will carry a weight, advance in your sales tier, which will carry a weight. towards ultimately putting on this retreat. Now, we're still finalizing numbers and everything, but more than likely, what we'll have is we'll have like a required amount of deposit, like $1 a deposit, from anybody who is hitting their goals or intending to hit their goals that are planning on attending this retreat. So we'll hold that. Then you have the ability to earn a reduced deposit based off of sales performance. So again, like our goal is to push people forward and not stay, remain the same or complacent. It's very easy to hit certain marks and just kind of like sit there. But we want to make sure that we're giving added worthwhile incentive to anybody that is pushing forward. So we're still like just kind of trying to iron it all out. It's also a little bit challenging for us because like in the past, we've just done like big, huge retreats and rent out venues, and it was incredible. Now, like we're kind of back at zero. So, we're rebuilding with everybody. So like we definitely feel a little bit of that strain too. So we're trying to figure out something that's going to be affordable, also worthwhile for you all to push. And then we've already started working with corporate on having some really, really cool stuff that we're going to be have planned as far as just like growth, training, exposure. I just think exposure is always so good. As a former like device rep, like I always wanted to be around like corporate people. It just makes it really easy when you've got questions or you need favors and all that kind of stuff. So like that stuff is like so worthwhile. If you missed it, because I know sometimes people are engaged in threads and engaged in posts, and sometimes they're not. We're going to be hosting this in Salt Lake City, so we'll be kind of in the backyard of Shackley Corporate, which I think is going to be really, really fun. But we're really close on all this stuff. It's just kind of like finalizing numbers and what everything kind of gets you. But we are kind of having this epiphany where we want this to feel like this isn't a rank-based business anymore. Like there's so much opportunity depending on what motivates you and can push you and your family and your financial goals forward. So we'll have that kind of like ironed out. The big thing, if you are non-negotiable going senior director plus, or you're going to sell over 5,000 in sales monthly plus, is that we will be doing a VIP night on Thursday. And those are like, that's my favorite part of the whole like retreat. I love like rewarding like people who are really, really, really pushing beyond. So I like that. And the thing that's really fun with that is, you get like one other person to run with you, or you just like really buckle down over these next 25 days, and like just about any of y'all could hit that. It's just like it just is an intentionality and like focusing on a non-negotiable goal.
Yeah, so we'll have the details either today or tomorrow. But bare minimum requirements, because I know not everyone, I just posted this in the chat, but if you're listening to the recording, to earn an invite to the retreat, it would be holding director in January and February, and then paying a deposit of some sort. And then if you go above that and you hit benchmarks, then you can get a reduced deposit. So we'll have all of that figured out, the details. But we're so excited just to be together too, because we found like in-person events are just such a powerful way. Usually people that attend in-person events, like you catch the vision a little bit more and you're able to go like, okay, I can see this being a real business, not just like this fun thing that I do online, but I can actually see this. And here you can do this yourself. Like you can get to director just by selling. You don't have to hold like, for Diamond, it was like having people fill all these spots and it was just stressful and then you had to hold it. And so for this, and then if you're not able to attend in person, because I know of course we have different things, we'll do like Zoom calls that if you qualify, like so you can, still be part of it if you can't actually attend in person, so that you can get in on some of the different stuff from corporate. So but we're so excited. Okay, that's it. Do you guys have any questions for us before we go? All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on this and listening. And thanks just for being on our team and working so hard and being in the chats and creating all this momentum with us. Like, we just are so appreciative of all of you and so excited to see what we can do together this year. So, all right. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.